I'm doing Ironman, and I've never done a triathlon before. So there's gonna be a lot of learning that is going into this. I've got just under a year to prepare, and I'm not one of those guys who's planning on going into this without doing any sort of training. That's insane, but I've never done a triathlon, and so why jump all the way up to an Ironman? I think for me, one of the things that I realized as I was considering doing one of these races is I thought about doing a sprint and then an Olympic distance, and there wasn't a real intimidation factor. Maybe that's totally arrogant on my part, but there wasn't a real intimidation factor. And then I thought about doing a half Ironman, and again, same thing. It just seems doable. I'm not planning on being competitive as far as, trying to beat anybody, but it just seems doable. It didn't make me scared. But a full Ironman, that's scary. And there's something about that scariness, that intimidation, that like, what the crap am I thinking? And there are people, when I tell them, people in my real life, when I tell them that, they just say, oh, cool, good for you. And you can tell that what they're really thinking is, you're stupid, dude. What are you planning on doing here? And that for some reason, I don't know why, I haven't always been wired like this, but that's what I'm chasing. Day one, I just got back from doing the swim, if you can't tell by how red my eyes are, because even the little things of figuring out how I'm supposed to adjust my goggles and all that are brand new. And man, what a great way to jump in, pun intended. I was nervous today, which is so funny because I know how to swim, but I don't know, something about it made me feel, it made it feel more real. Driving to the gym, jumping into the pool, all of that, it was, yeah. I also learned that, I know how to swim as far as stay afloat and not die if I have to swim a short distance, but effectively swim? No, not even remotely close. I couldn't catch my breath. Breathing was incredibly difficult. Knowing when and how to kick and how to, there's a lot that I'm going to get to learn with this, which is exciting. I'm also pleasantly surprised by how sore my lats are. So I was in the pool for maybe about half an hour. There was a 25 meter pool, and I did 16 laps. So nothing crazy, especially because that's like, 350 yards? And for the actual race itself, I'm going to be doing 3,800 yards. And so I'm glad I've got a year to get this going. But this was good. This was the best way to get started. Do the hardest and the scariest thing first, and we're going to keep going. Okay, so one of the things I want to experiment with more as I do this is something that I've already started to see the value of, especially when I think back about who the person I was 10 years ago. And I was like a lot of just kind of average millennial dudes, where I was more interested in comfort. I worked a 9-to-5 job and I hated it, and I would get angry about it. And I was in a relationship that wasn't great, and I was just really more interested in playing video games and being comfortable and consumption. My whole life really was just kind of built around consumption. And it's wild to me that, I don't know, I get to see the difference between the men who use the internet to break free from their 9-to-5. We're starting to see more and more people who are using it to shake up the way that we do schooling, and you see it as a way that, I mean, honestly, Twitter has become like a real life network for me, where between Twitter and YouTube, whether it's style guys or masculinity guys or anything else, have been able to really make some awesome real life connections, and it's all because of the internet. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because of what started with the internet. I think if it weren't for what I had read online, for the communities that I'd become part of, I would still just be playing Halo. Right? I would still just be interested in how do I not hate my job, or all these other kind of things that they're not even on my radar anymore. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy a good video game. I'm playing Breath of the Wild on my brother's DS right now, and that's been a lot of fun. And it doesn't mean that there aren't stresses, but there's something about using this amazing tool that we have today, social media, the internet, everything else, to be able to build your life into something that we've never been able to do before. Before, when you think about the economy, it was based on things like agriculture or on industry. And both of those things are obviously still incredibly important. It's not like they can just disappear. But so many of us can build a business and build a life and build a family around the idea of information. And as long as you've got a camera or a phone or some way to share that information and you're proactive about how to share it and monetize it and do it with people, then you really can. You could build a life. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have the time freedom that I do. And so one of the things that I'm looking forward to with this is how it's going to translate over not only from just this self-development within this physical sphere, the spiritual sphere that I talked about on the last video, but even what it's going to do for me and what I'm hopefully going to be able to leverage it into as far as deepening that community, building it up even more, leveraging the internet, leveraging social media to be able to build my life and the life of my family and make it even better. Nice rainy November morning, and I'm on my way in to go ride the bike. The neighborhood that we live in is part of a community that's got a pool and a clubhouse and a gym and all that stuff, and they've got some nice Peloton bikes, which, all the hype, but I figure at least for the next 2 months, it makes more sense to just be training on this while I'm figuring it out instead of actually buying my own bike. And, it's going to be snowing here soon. I'm not going to actually be able to put time on the road. I'm sure that there are people who are going to tell me that that's stupid because this bike is going to fit differently than a bike that I go and get fitted, and there's probably some validity to that, but we're making do with what we have right now, so let's go figure this thing out. Okay, I feel great. I did a 20-minute beginner class, and I felt like that wasn't enough, and so I ended up doing another 10-minute one that I guess is supposed to be a warm-up, but about 30 minutes total on the bike. From a cardio perspective, it wasn't that bad, but my quads are sore. I think part of it is because we did good legs yesterday, but part of it is just that my legs aren't used to using that kind of motion, so I'm excited to see how I'm going to get used to that as we go further along. And then also, apparently one of the most difficult things in a triathlon, especially in an Ironman, is the transition from the bike to the run, because apparently your legs just feel like bricks, and so they call it a brick training. And I want to do the hardest stuff first, and so I did the half an hour on the bike, and then I just did like a mile run. Not too crazy, just kind of at my regular pace, maybe a little bit faster towards the end, just to really push myself. And I could definitely see why that's going to be hard, and I'm going to have to train that, because my legs were just, no, dude, this is not the motion we're now in the rhythm of doing, and we're heavy, and this sucks. And so I'm going to be doing that a lot to make sure that I get that done right. But all in all, now my new stuff is done for the week. The swim and the bike were brand new. I'm still going to go run on Saturday. We're going to do upper body workout tomorrow. But man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really optimistic. So I'm feeling great. All right, so I got to do somewhere between 8 and 9 miles today, last workout of the week, and this is the one that I'm the most comfortable with because obviously I've done some running before, so this should be a good day, and not going to push too hard as far as speed or anything. I'm just trying to get my body used to doing all this stuff, but I'll see you in 9 miles. Done. All right, week 1 is in the books, and I gotta say, I feel good. I don't necessarily feel any different, but I didn't expect to feel any different just a week in. One of the things I did just learn, which is gonna add just another layer of interest and challenge to this, is one of the things that I've been dependent on as I've been running for the last year is music. You know, you find a good playlist, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable to run. And there's no music in an Ironman, no headphones, no nothing. So I'm going to get to start training without that, and it's just going to make it all the more challenging. But in a lot of ways, even related to the personal development, the faith building, all the stuff that I talked about in the first video, it's just going to be even better because it's just going to be me and my thoughts out there. So, but yeah, week 1 is down. I'm feeling good, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys some of the other channels and resources I found. I'm looking into some coaching. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to tackle with this, and even that element is really, really appealing to me. So week 1 of never having done a triathlon to doing an Ironman, Iron Tanner, here we go.